Hey there guys, how you doing? Ice 9, and we're going to do positional heroes for the week. We have our halfback, Le'Veon Bell. This is probably the popular choice. I'm glad that he got a good card. I'm certainly glad he got a good card. He deserved it. There was talk whether it would be this guy or yet another Zeke card, but we've got Bell. So let's go ahead and unlock him. And he actually is higher overall than Dorsett, but that's not taking into account Dorsett's boost. Heard the trucking's 90. I've not seen all the hidden stats as of yet on Mudhead. That's going to be very important, but 97 speed in a set-based player is definitely welcome. He's not overwhelmingly strong. He does need some help in terms of strength boosters. But 88 is definitely not bad. All the other stats look good. 90 catch does him justice. 97 carry is good. Pretty elusive. Ball carrier vision's 99. Who cares? All right, but there he is. I'm definitely going to try him out. And the other player here, Telvin Smith. And this is a very good, from what it looks like. Got to see some of the other stats. What I'd like to see is block, shed, catch, jump, and play recognition are going to be very important. But the other stats are very good. 95 zone coverage with 94 speed. Very good base awareness, great acceleration, decent man coverage. Very good 6'3". So this is a pretty good player as well. And we're going to go ahead and do him, and we can see he is highest ranked too. So made a purchase. You can see I'm low on coins, and I already have a linebacker, Hendricks here, and I got the boss version, as you could see. And I kind of made a decision on that. I got rid of a bunch of stuff on the bench. I really had to stretch to try to get this player. He was coming down a lot in value, a lot more than the LT card from last week. And the difference between those two cards, I mean, that Lawrence Taylor card was really a great coverage linebacker. He was a good coverage linebacker in his day. He really could do more than pass rush and stop the run. I'll tell you that. He was a great all-around linebacker. And here's another guy who goes back a little bit before my time, but he was also a very versatile linebacker as well with a hit power boost. He's 6'7". So one thing that when I didn't talk about the set versus the boss player, I mean, I had to go out and get the boss player because he was coming down so much in value. I think that a lot of coins are out of the economy, and with a Lawrence Taylor card just coming out as an Ultimate Legend last week, that probably put down the value of the boss a little bit, which is the only reason I was able to pick him up for 6 million coins, which I thought was a pretty good deal considering he's a 106 true overall with a hit power boost. He's 6'7", and he's got 80 catch along with the other great stats. So in terms of a coverage linebacker, I mean, this is the guy in this game that you want to have on Gronk or Olsen. There's no doubt about it. His jump is in the low 80s, but again, he's 6'7", with those kind of stats, and 98 zone coverage, 99 hit power boosted himself. That's a pretty good card. It took me up to a 106 defense without having to even put boosts in. I had to sell a lot of players to get him. I had to sell Draft Goskowski. I've got a gameplay kicker in there right now anyways, bringing down the special teams. But otherwise, I hit 104 overall pretty well. So let's take a look and see what happens now when we put Bell in and take away Dorsett's agility boost. See, that takes my defense down to a 105. just right there, but without many boosters at all, we could see he's looking pretty good. 90 trucking, though, it's only similar to Dorsett. I'm going to have to try him out and see how this guy plays, actually, because to Dorsett, even though he's got green over Dorsett, Dorsett looks a little bit more elusive and strong with the -1 strength. So, but I'm just glad that Bell got a good card. And then another thing that we could do, Smith is a higher overall than Von Miller's Super Bowl card. And we could kind of see there. As a pass rusher, he doesn't have quite the power or the finesse moves. But there is a lot of green over Von Miller. But for the time being, I think I'm going to put him here. And that takes me back up to a 106 overall. And here we go. Boosters disappearing from the team. But that's a pretty good looking card right there. That is for sure. Still like the 2 speed boosters in there. I kind of found this last year too to be the case. +4 speed is kind of a sweet spot where you could just feel it. Everybody plays a little bit better. You could just feel it with +4 speed. That's a pretty good threshold as far as things go. So not bad at all. 2 good positional heroes for the week. We would expect this late in the year that they would be extremely good cards, and that only really leaves us a D-end and offensive tackle. My guess would be that we'll get those next week, and then they should finish things off with a kicker and a punter. Is my assumption that they'll do, and then barring any other surprises like a kick returner and a punt returner, which I doubt they do. They haven't done it the last 2 years. Those are the 4 positions that are left. So almost done with the positional heroes. Tomorrow's throwback, somebody, used their iPhone to look into the future and was able to see that it's a Robert Quinn defensive end with +2 block shed. So another block shed booster. No speed booster as of yet. We should see that player sooner or later with this year. It looks like later, and then we'll see what other promos come out. And I'm still up in the air. I'm probably not going to play next year, but it really depends on what EA does. And I've been thinking a lot about what EA could do. I've mentioned various things and complained about many things. Anything from the trophy live event being gone, and instead we just get for example, the X Factors thing where you get a silver trophy. The fact that I've never gotten an elite trophy off of any live event this year. A lot of things have been like that for live events. I think that's something that EA should really take a long, hard look at changing. And I know their revenues have been down, and it serves them right that their revenues are down when they've made the game harder to play and made the rewards from actually playing the game worse. And I think that one thing that it really occurs to me that they could do to balance this game right now, they've done a lot of good things. Draft was good. Easter was good. In a lot of ways, Ultimate Freeze was very good this year. I think that the Ultimate Freeze game plans, even though they've definitely helped my defense out a lot, I think the whole concept of the game plan needs to be revisited and changed radically. I suggest, and one thing that would possibly change my mind about this game, it's due, I have to make decisions due to how much time I have and things like that. But one thing that would interest me in terms of playing the game is if I was rewarded more by playing it, which is a novel concept, right? But one of the things I think that they need to do, When they do Ultimate Legends next year, I think they need to balance these cards this week for Ultimate Legends, and I was so disgusted I didn't even cover them. Went out and got one of the bosses anyways, but the two set-based Ultimate Legends for this week were the biggest difference in overall from the boss cards of this year. And that is going in the wrong direction, especially near the getting closer to the end of the year when all the players need to be really good. These players have needed to be really good. And if we look at this, I believe that the boss card has 94 base speed. This card actually has higher block shed, but zone coverage from 94 to 87. Man coverage, I think it's 87 on the boss card to 80. So this might be a good pass rusher. A 6'7" guy is going to definitely bat down a lot of balls and stuff like that, and he's going to be a problem in coverage, even with the stats being what they are because of his height. But it's a lot worse than that boss card. And the boss cards have boosts anyway. So even if the cards had virtually identical stats with a boost, they're going to, a team running all bosses is going to be a higher overall. Which again, I think is a problem. I think it's a real problem, and it's really unbalanced the game, the way that they've done things. Now here with the Cunningham card, now his boss card, which is an agility boost, so not quite as good as Vic. Thank goodness it wasn't another speed booster. That would have really set me off, obviously. But 96 speed on the boss card and throw power 96 and throw accuracies are all in the mid to high 90s. So again, a huge difference from this set-based card, and it's something like 6 or 7 natural overall difference between the two cards. It just doesn't cut it. And, any number of things that EA has done from, no trophy events, so elite trophies are only really available by going through packs or buying gold players and doing the 10 trophy set. Through the 6 and the 2 trophy set, you're not going to get many elites at all. So that's been something that, rewards from playing the game just aren't there. The biggest thing I think they need to do, there's a number of things that I think they need to do, as far as I'm concerned, to try, what would make me happy with the game. Now, I agree that there has to be premium content in the game. Some of these players need to be pack only, but I would argue that only about 1/5 of the top players in the game at any given time should be pack only. The rest of them should be done through sets. If you got so many sets that people can't really do them all, then that's one thing. But at least everybody has access to doing the sets. Especially if you give them a period of time, and it gives people something to keep working on. Like Gold Medal Master, Silver Medal Master last year. They kept people involved and they gave people something to work on. When you have boss players that are in the tens of millions a lot of times, and some of this is due to the coin the coin sellers going back a few months, but when you have that many players, and here's the thing, I've said before, it's a top-down economy, okay? So if you have really good positional heroes, that's going to push down the price of the Ultimate Legends, especially the bosses. And here's the thing, for the people who did the Hendrix set, this week, boy, they've got to really feel burnt by this, with a better player coming out just afterwards, which EA, of course, is famous for, with Telvin Smith here. In terms of Fournette, that was a set-based type of thing, so it's really not as bad. I mean, we know here that Le'Veon's going to be a more popular card, but, that Fournette card with 98 trucking versus 90 is still really good. That's a really good card. Definitely a lot stronger than this card. The catch isn't quite as good, but, this Le'Veon card is not overpowered. It just happens to be a good positional hero. This is a good solid 99, but if you have the better content like this and some of the set base, that's going to drive down the price of some of the Ultimate Legends. And then, all these cards with boost, the thing is, even if you have a great draft event like what you have with these, +2/+2 booster here with Garrett, and then of course the master set with the +4/+4. You don't see those boosts all the time besides a gauntlet or a mobile master type of player. Those are, ridiculous boosts, for sure. And this is really good, but it doesn't really equalize things because all those other Ultimate Legends that are coming out every week, and there's really not enough promos. If you go through some of the weeklies, I've complained, and many people have complained about throwbacks and unsung heroes, which, some people are getting ready to get the Doomsday set. I don't think it was worth, well, you could see what my progress is. Nothing. I haven't worried about it at all, especially, I didn't worry about it before Easter came out. I'm like, I'm just not going to work on this week after week. It's just a loser every week getting these 96 players in order to get these collectibles for it. So you can't really make the kind of money that you need to scale up to get an Ultimate Legend boss. It's very hard to do that. If you're good at working the economy, etc., and working the auction house, of course, you can get those type of players if that's all that you do. But I would argue, first and foremost, there needs to be better rewards by actually playing this game. That is my biggest point. Live events, unlocking challenges or leveling up, things of that nature. Now, movers, I haven't even talked about movers at all because it's been, last year movers was a way, it was a hard to do set that you could get 99 overall players. This year, it's different. It adds +2 overall to members of the team that these guys are going to. But here's the thing. Okay, so we got a Telvin Smith card. He's 99. He's already at a 99. You can't boost him anymore. And so for a top-end team, this doesn't help. If you've got 98s and below, it could help those players. But by this is just late to bring something like this out. Not necessarily a great gameplay card. It's a good card, but it's just, once again, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 tiers down from the best players in this game right now. They're not the best overall players at their position or even competing for that. Not as good as either of the positional heroes, not as good as any number of Ultimate Legends, not as good as NTL, not even as good as Marcus Peters, which is months old content. So this doesn't help you make the kind of coins, even though these sets are easier to do. This doesn't help you really make the kind of coins that you need to buy an Ultimate Legend boss. Certainly every week, probably not every 2 weeks. You can't afford those players unless, again, you're really good at working the auction house. Again, more power to those people who could do that. I think that they deserve some benefit from what they do, but they don't deserve the best players in the game. And I'm going to guess right now that when Madden Mobile 18 comes out next year, that it's not going to be anything like this game is right now. I don't think it can be. I think that when the casual players, if the casual players came back and nothing changed from this year, and it just was kind of what we're looking at right now with the league-to-league gameplay favoring higher overalls so much and favoring the better team so much, regardless of the player skill or anything else, this kind of skewed playing field. I think that a lot of people would not play the game for a long period of time. And you want a game that is going to reward better players for sure. You don't want it to be all arbitrary and the better teams get nerfed, which there is still a nerf thing. There's a couple things counteracting each other. There's still a nerf for high overall teams, but that is much outweighed by the counter system right now. 2 days ago I put up nothing. We played Flamingo, and I didn't play well. I should have scored on my third drive, and I didn't. But I got shut out by a 110 defense, and it was just ultimate freeze, soft counters. And, of course, at a 110 defense going up against a 104 offense, every single counter that fires is pretty much going to be critical. That's not right, in my opinion. So they need to balance this game, and I can almost assure you, I don't know whether I'm going to be around for it or playing it or not, but I still do care about it. I can almost assure you that the game isn't going to favor higher overalls at the beginning of next year like it does right now. And that's part of what soured me is really, I've got a really good team, and, I've got some really good players. Just picked up that Hendricks boss card. I've got some really good cards, but there are people who definitely have a lot more. And the thing is, I'm not jealous of that per se. What I'm mad about is that so much of the content is not even available really by playing the game. It's by ripping packs or by working the economy. Somebody's game plan, which is the biggest factor in how well their defense is going to play, is a function of the economy. Ultimate Freeze was pack only. It was from the gifts from Ultimate Freeze. It's one of the gifts. I was able to speculate, and once the one card came out, I was able to get all the cards because I saw that putting all the cards together was going to be a very good setup. And, some people say that Ultimate Freeze is really easy to play against. And, if the counters don't fire, sure, it's easy to play against. But if you get 3 or 4 counters in a row and they're all criticals, you're not going to be able to do much. I don't care how good you are. You're not going to be able to do much. So there's a part of the game that's very economy-based, auction house-based, everything from, defensive chances and soft counters, and to the boss players with the overall difference skewing the game so much, totally unbalancing the game, to the pack-only speed boosters that I've talked about, which are the biggest impact boost on the game. And they had the 3 cards that were all pack-only type of things. It's totally unbalanced, their game. And so my suggestions are figure out some way of have a set where you can put in 3 Ultimate Legends to get a boss player or something like that. And don't make those strictly pull only. Give people another way to get those cards. And that is also going to keep the values up of the lower cards that might be involved in better sets, which helps everybody out too. Especially given that year collectible, now that they've made the changes, are, it's such a tough pull for that year collectible that it's really Ultimate Legend, the set players, especially with them being such bad players, bad 99s this week, they're not worth doing. You're better off doing positional heroes to a large extent. They need to change that. They need to tighten up the overalls. do something like give the set player, maybe make positional heroes just 99s. Then maybe make the set player a +1 boost of whatever the boss has, and then have the boss player being a +2 boost. That would be a little bit more fair. There's no other way to put it. That would be a little bit more reasonable as far as these things go. Then the other changes I would suggest is the game plan system needs an overhaul, to say the least. To say the absolute least, it needs an overhaul. And I think the game plan thing is one area that EA needs to look at and say, the soft counters are good. The frequency counters are good, preventing people from spamming plays, forcing them to use other plays. That's all good. That's all good. However, this whole thing being a function of items that people could buy at the auction house, while in a short-sighted point of view for EA, they say that's going to make us more money, that we make more of this game pay to play and make more of this game, be items that can be bought at the auction house, or when they come out, people ideally want to spend money and go through packs trying to get these things. But they're not taking into account that people have put in a lot of money, myself included, trying to get some of these items and not getting anything because the pack odds are so bad. And the way that you counteract that, and the way that you counteract some of the things that I know they have a problem with the economy, crystal eggs and them not being auctionable players after they hatch, was really EA was all about, preventing people from doing monopolies. To make themselves more money, so people couldn't make money off of rare items in the games, and just preventing themselves from having to spend money on the game to get the things that they want, which doesn't work because you've got these boss players that people could snap up. When people get the rare pull, the average player gets a rare pull, and they decide, I'm going to take the coins. When a bunch of those guys do that, that drives down the price of that Ultimate Legend boss. Then there are people who go through and they snatch these players up and they resell them, supply and demand. As supply dries up, as news gets around about the player, like Hendricks, for example, I think this is going to be an endgame outside linebacker. The guy is 6'7" with great coverage stats and speed. He's a very well-rounded card with the hit power boost. So if we look at Hendricks right now, I picked him up over the weekend at $6 million, and I think it was name recognition that really, lack of name recognition, and that it's a player from the 70s and early 80s. But here's some of the bosses now, going for substantially more than what I bought him for. So that's what people do, is supply. They just snatch up what's out there, if they can, and then they just resell it, those type of cards. And then we could see the set card is not going for much at all. Really, 10 set cards to equal the price of one boss card. It's not very good scaling. You're not going to make in-game coins to get that next tier of player by putting together Ultimate Legend sets unless you just get really lucky or snipe the year collectibles. And it doesn't make sense. It's only top only type of thing. Ultimate free setup, top only type of thing. They need to, going back to game plan, they need to make that part of the game needs to go back to by actually playing the game. Maybe achievements, unlocking better soft counters. I do suggest that they have nothing like an ultimate free setup. I think there is more skill changing your counters individually and trying to predict what your opponent's going to do. Take away what he's done in his last drive and try to predict what he's going to do in his next drive. And the give and take of that, have it be more fair, the counter system and the game plan system between players, because it's just not a 110 overall when you're playing a defense like that. You're playing usually an ultimate freeze setup or a really good set of hard counters. And, a lot of times there's an advantage there. There's an advantage in the game plan. There's an advantage in the team. And because of the team's overall difference, there is an advantage in the critical counters. Totally unbalanced. So have the game plan be achieved by actually playing the game. Get up to P50 and you're going to get this and that. Get various achievements that you figure out by playing head-to-head. Maybe after you do the Mobile Master and you get up to a certain number of fans, that'll keep people playing the game and keep people playing head-to-head if they can unlock those things. Have things like that. Go back to making game plan. Part of this game has to be from actually playing the game. There needs to be better rewards by actually playing the game, not just working the economy. And some people may not like what I'm saying. I really don't care, because if the game moves forward in the direction that it is, I won't play. I just won't play because of that, because it just doesn't. It's not even that I'm not willing to go through a lot of the things it takes to put together a good team. If I don't have the best team out there, okay, but there's got to be something that's available. I mean, everything from game plans and everything is pay to play. It's really unbalanced. And the other promos, again, by doing some of the set-based live event promos, are not giving the kind of coins out necessary to get really good rewards, with the exception, I guess, of Doomsday, everything that you have to go through to get that. But like I said, I think the Aga Power was the better way to go anyways. Just knock it out in a short period of time. Time is money. Allow yourself the time to do other things, because you're not going to make money by selling the players in this. And that's really the thing about the coin selling. And people have said that EA has done so much pack-only content because of the coin sellers, because they're trying to drain the excess coins out of the system, out of the economy that were introduced by coin sellers. I think that is patently false, and I will tell you why. If this game had more rewards that were available through live events, if the Randy Moss card, if the CJ2K card had been a master player of a set, if Mike Vick had been available through some kind of set involving live events, that would have driven the prices of those players down. More people would have spent money with EA trying to get those players themselves, and only having those players available through very poor odds through packs. Really, yes, people bought coins to try to get those players and try to get the unlimited packs and pull those players. That's what they tried to do. But if they had been set based in the first place, the demand for cheap coins would have been less anyways, because people would have been more inclined to do the player themselves and do the sets themselves and spend money with EA, by the way, again. And that would have drove down the prices of the players, which again would have reduced the need for people to buy coins, reduced the demand for coins, and would have reduced the market for buying coins in the game. It's still going to happen. You're still going to get people to shortcut. But when you give people no access besides luck to the top content in the game, what do you think is going to happen? So it's not the coin buyers and sellers that forced EA to bring on this pack only BS. This is something that EA has been doing all year to a certain extent. No trophy event at all. I can't believe I'm complaining about it because the rewards were so bad, but they did bring out more elites in the game, and more people would have played that this year, having access to elites at a time when like the team heroes flashbacks and then the MVPs all required elite trophies. More people would have done that. It would have driven down the price. They would have gotten more money from stamina refills because of it. Another thing about this too, and this is a small complaint, but it's these types of things that EA has done a lot this year, okay? So when you buy Madden Cash, okay, in the past, it used to be, when you buy Madden Cash, it would automatically, if you had 0 stamina, it would take your stamina bar up to 40. It's just kind of a nice thing. It's kind of like EA's way of giving you, you're going to have to pardon the expression, but like a virtual reach around, for buying something, and then if you go and open up packs, you're going to get something terrible anyways, most likely. But it's, it was a nice gesture to fill up your stamina bar. They've stopped even doing that this year. And it's that type of things that are small, but I don't know if people realize all those types of things that EA has done this year. And I will tell you this, no domination to Gauntlet trade-in set, and making Gauntlet harder to do while giving us a player that's not as desirable. A lot of the lesser sets in the game, the weeklies, throwbacks, they're getting better and better. Vernon Davis isn't bad. 96 cards now. That helmet's a real pain to pull, though. And it's like, wow, the pull odds are terrible in this game this year. They're really, really bad, the pull odds. And none of the items, of course, are auctionable, too. So if you grind on it with stamina refills, you're gonna buy packs, you're going to do something. Positional heroes, now the content's getting solid, but choices of players from Landry to Breeze to Quan here, our 99 middle linebacker with less than 90 speed, not great coverage. DeMarco here, with 78 speed for a 99. He might be a good player. I'm sure he's a really good blocker. Weddle with the 33 jump. Another guy who's maybe more deserving than Landry, but another wide receiver here with low jump, just not really, really good stats. Unsung heroes to get this final thing, which they end up undercutting themselves anyways with the Ega power. And then it's absolutely a bleeder of a promo to do these sets week to week because they're 96 unboosted players. Ooh, now 97. It made them a little bit better. Some of these players are on teams. They're actually pretty good players, but they're just, you got to get creative to make coins off that or grind it with stamina refills. Movers here, which this would have been much better 2 months ago. It's good for theme teams if you want to put together a team of, all Jaguars or Texans or whatever, then it's going to be, a good thing. But, other than that, for top tier teams, it's not the type of promo where you could get these 99s because they're 97s with a very dubious boost for a whole team, which if they're 99 players won't boost them anyways. It's not going to be the type of thing that's going to scale you up to be able to afford the top content in the game, economy-wise. You could get the top players in this game by buying coins or by having nice little monopolies on things. And they don't want you to buy coins, so what they need to do is make, as I said, 4/5 of the content in this game, I would argue, at least over half, more like 2/3, 3/4, or 4/5 of the content should be set based, in my opinion, to keep the game balanced. I talked about Quake 3 and the railgun before, and that, if you wanted to get a railgun, you just go and pick it up, kill your enemy, and then try to control the map and prevent him from getting the railgun. That's balance to a certain extent. That's game balance. This game needs a big, heavy dose of balance. And like I said, this is not a newbie-friendly game at all. And some people are going to like that. Some people, if you're sitting in the top 100 and your leagues are doing really good and you've got stacked teams and game plans and you're good players, that's why you're seeing the leagues that are absolute one-sided affairs the vast, vast majority of the time. More skill is required too. I can't say that. More skill is required to play the game this year. You can't spam plays. You have to watch out and play through the soft counters. But I would say, though, from a gameplay point of view, in terms of putting difficulty in the game, tiptoeing through counters and trying to get around them, it does get tiring. It really does. There's got to be a better way to implement that. And I don't think soft counters, if it had been kept reasonable and people would have had to make choices still and shutting hard, countering the necessary plays and predicting what their opponent's going to do, that takes more skill. But I'll tell you from experience, just having an ultimate freeze setup in there is not skillful. It's just, okay, I put in 3 collectibles and 2 of the others and the Aga Power and elite 2-point conversion, trying to stop the run. There's no skill to that at all. It's skill working the economy. And to what I say, who cares? I really don't care. And the better players in the top 100, the vast majority of them got to the top 100 anyways. They're better players anyways. They don't need any more advantages. This game, and I do predict, once again, and it does seem to make sense, that this game will not be, obviously it's going to change, but it's going to be a little bit more newbie-friendly next year and a little bit more equal, type of thing, And again, my biggest suggestions, make the whole game plan thing, go back to making that available and unlockable by playing the game. Either by having 1 play per level up and then after level 50, unlocking better soft counters, or make people make choices with soft counters. Okay, I can soft counter the run 25%, but I can only, if I do that, I can only counter long passing 10 or 15%. Things to equalize the game. Force the players to make choices and make it based on playing the actual game. Once again, to beat the dead horse into the ground and bury it. That's what it needs to be. And then having counter severity, that's all well and good to get those different looks, and it's made people like myself even more skilled. It's definitely because you get the different looks with the different severity counters. That's a gameplay change. It adds complexity. It's a good thing, but the frequency that criticals fire should not be based on overall. Simply make teams play like their overalls and like their stats say, and then take that away, again, to balance it. Because the better team, which should have an advantage, will have an advantage because their players are playing better, but it shouldn't have anything to do with counter severity. That is really the double whammy that is really making league to league lame, in my opinion. It really does. It unbalances it. It really does. So that's it, guys. That is a long video. We've got our fan favorites too. They're doing now their 500 collectibles. Once again, I've saved up a lot of these. And, one other thing to cover. Speaking of fan favorites, and some of the other nonsense that has come out. Another thing that I see on Mudhead, so we got Season Stars packs as our third mystery pack this last Sunday, which I didn't cover at all because it's just, and some people got bosses from those cards. That's pretty cool, of course. And they're store packs, so in a way you've got to appreciate what EA does, but some people are just really, I don't know. They're just really EA apologists about this. And I got to tell you something about this. I had 11 of those packs, okay? And the argument that I see on Mudhead is, well, they're free packs. Why is everybody complaining about free packs? Out of the goodness of their hearts, EA gave us free packs. First of all, I'd say that this is digital rented content, and it really is not that much to give players much at all. Secondly, I had 11 number threes. Do you think I had 11 number three mystery packs because I didn't spend money on stamina refills? Does that seem conceivable? No, I spent money on stamina refills to get mystery packs, hoping it would be good content. Now it's a mystery, it's whatever EA wants to make the content, but making it something from an expired program, a program that's going to end up in the vault, was not a very good gesture. It's kind of like you're a kid and, you've outgrown your bike. Say that you're 9 years old and you still have got your old Schwinn with training wheels and you really need a new bike. All your other neighbors have bikes and your friends have bikes. You want to go bike riding with your friends. And then your birthday comes around. Let's assume that your parents are not, hurting for money and they know you need a bike. They see you walking while the rest of your friends are riding their bikes around and having a good time. They know you need a bike, but instead for your birthday, they get you socks. That's what this is like. And I don't mean to sound unappreciative, but, once again, let's just clear the air. I did spend money to get those mystery boxes. So while I'm not going to be the most sore individual about it and complain, I want to reward EA for trying to do something, even though that they could really do something better, in my opinion. Don't expect me to sing their praises for some of this. This is content that a lot of people are paying for, and this is content that a lot of people that everybody is going to essentially lose anyways by the end of the year. So, I don't know, in terms of what EA needs to do in terms of this, like I said, it's going to, I don't know, at the beginning of the year, I might take a look at it, but I would hate to let everybody down at the beginning of the year if I look at the game and the incarnation next year and say, they haven't made enough changes to really make me happy about this game, because that's really what it's all about. I'm playing now, and you get addicted, and I'm in a league and all those types of things. But I'm not going to have as much time next year, and I really don't know how much desire I have to see what EA has changed. Based on what they've done this year, they've had some great promos. They've had Draft, they've had Easter. A lot of parts of Ultimate Freeze were good. Again, though, the poison pill in Ultimate Freeze was those darn UF soft counters, which along with the gameplay changes has really turned a lot of people off on the game. And, I've just joined that list of players that have been turned off by that and the changes that they've made along with UF Soft Freeze. But the changes, if you look at it through the game, they've had some really good players and some good promos, but overall, a lot of what they've done has not been good this year. It has not been a good year for Madden Mobile. And a lot of the things that they could have done, a content update is available. Now watch, it's like, some great thing that they bring out. That'd be funny to catch that live on video during one of my rants about EA. All right, let's see. Anything in the news? No, just positional heroes. Any new sets? We have anything? Just a normal draft, the weekly type things. There's our throwbacks, positional heroes, unsung heroes. In the locker, same things, no new trophy monster. I do assume they're going to bring out another trophy monster. That would make sense, even if they didn't do the gold or silver medal master. Doesn't look to be anything new that I see so far. Teams, that's all the same. So I don't know what the content, who knows what the content is, the mysterious content. Who knows what they're going to do. But that's really it, guys. That's my video. Good news, positional heroes for the week. Want to see what some of those stats are. Le'Veon, I think a lot of people are going to be really excited about the player. I'm definitely going to give him a try. And he's higher overall than Dorsett, but no boost. In 90 trucking and with that kind of strength, I don't know how huge of an upgrade he's going to be, but at least he's very solid. That's a solid card for sure. And then Telvin, this is undoubtedly going to be a big, big upgrade, I think, in terms of versatility. I want to see what the block shed and the play recognition is, but this should be an upgrade from Collins. I would say a lot of the same types as the stats, very athletic, 6'3", really good zone coverage. Want to see what the catch, play recognition, block shed, and catches in the card jump. All those things are going to be important too for a linebacker, but that's a good card. He's still, I don't know, Boss Hendricks seems to, in terms of a coverage linebacker, a guy who's 6'7", I don't know how much better it can get than this card. Ultimate tickets, I assume that those players are going to come out at some point. They should be coming out. So we'll see what those have. And as other promos come out, I'll cover them and give you my commentary as well as what I think. But I've been thinking about that a lot in terms of ways they could really rebalance the game and make it more enjoyable. Still make it skill-based, and, the better players should win. There's no doubt about that. But just make it a little bit more even. Games to pay to play is really my commentary after playing through most of the year. So that's it, guys. That's my video. Thanks for watching.